It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on the 16th day of July, 2020. My camera's a little off set there. Was doing some testing earlier today. Anyway, good morning and welcome to you guys. We've got another busy show ahead today, quite a bit to cover. So if you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We have had some new subscribers recently. We regularly do travel and cruise industry news on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. And then, of course, I go live anytime there's something in between happening in the world of travel and cruise to keep you updated on that. And a good morning to each and every one of you. I see Tom's with us and Gretchen's here and Sonny's here. Good to see all you guys. We're going to get right at it today, folks. The lead story today has to do, of course, with the announcement that came out last night that everybody by now has seen it, I'm sure, about Holland America selling 4 of the ships. Carnival, as of when I was writing the story this morning to use today, I said that we know what 8 of the 13 ships are that they're going to sell now. And since then, I know another one. So now we're up to 9 as the Costa Neo Romantica is being sold to Celestial. So that brings us up to 9 of the 13 that we can pinpoint. Of course, Carnival still being stupid and not saying what other ones are being sold yet. I don't know why. Just get it over with and lay it out there. But anyway, the 4 that broke yesterday actually broke while we were on our little cocktail party, with my friend Pete over there in London. We do a cocktail party for any of our viewers who want to join us on Wednesday afternoon. And Emily's always there from up in New York, and a couple other folks here that watch this program. But anyway, I broke while I was on the air with them yesterday, so I gave them a first-hand account of finding out about it. But at any rate, Holland America has sold 4 of the ships. The Amsterdam and Rotterdam will be purchased by Fred Olsen Cruises. That's one of the European lines over there, folks. We don't know a whole lot about it in this country, but for our audience members over in the UK and Europe, you guys are familiar with Fred Olsen. Well, they're getting the Amsterdam and the Rotterdam. They will be renamed Bolette and Borealis. Deliveries expected in September, according to a statement by Fred Olsen parent company Bonheur ASA. The other 2 that Holland America has sold, the Maasdam and the Veendam, will be transferred to an unknown company. They have not announced publicly yet who that company is, who is actually getting the other 2 Holland America ships. Now, assuming that the suspected outcome for Carnival Inspiration, which is to follow Carnival Fantasy, we think, to Turkey, to I call it the graveyard, but they're going to go over there and dismantle it, which the Fantasy has stripped all of its equipment and stuff down in Curacao and has left heading for Turkey. The Inspiration is in Curacao now to be stripped. So we're assuming that it's going to head to Turkey as well. Don't know that one totally for sure, but that's what the tea leaves are saying. And with the 2 other cruises that we already knew about, one of the Costa cruises let's see, that was the Costa Victoria and the P&O Oceana. That brings a total of, counting the Neo Romantica that we just learned about this morning, that brings a total to 9 of the 13 ships. Now, the Holland America ships that were sold, those are still the really popular ships in the line. The Maasdam joined the fleet in 93 as the second of 4 S-class ships, carries about 1,250 guests. That's the 4th ship to bear the Maasdam name. I didn't know that. That's one that I picked up on this time. The Veendam was delivered in 96. The Rotterdam was introduced in 97, carrying about 1,400 guests. And the Amsterdam most recently, and it was joined the fleet in 2000, and it carried right at 1,400 guests. So that's the latest on what's happening with Carnival. So we now can pinpoint 9 of the 13. Still don't know the other 4. And of course, as I find out about that, I'll let you guys know. Now, there's several stories this morning that are more geared toward our friends over there in Europe. But I thought they were worth mentioning for several reasons, which we'll get to later. One, a-rosa has restarted cruises on the Rhone River. That's one of the river cruises over there in Europe. They restarted on the Rhone following a successful resumption of sailings on the Douro, the Rhine, and the Danube. A-rosa Cruises is a cruise line based in Ramstock, Germany, which operates river cruises mostly in Germany. And of course, it's a nice place to ride down the river and have a little glass of wine or other adult beverages. So that is the one of the reasons. One of the reasons I'm talking about Europe a little bit today. Before I get on to the other reason I'm going to talk a little bit about Europe today, I have to tell you, folks, I flat screwed up. Tuesday was National Nude Day, and I totally missed it. Now, what better day than to talk about a nude cruise, and I missed the chance. So this year in February, the folks at Bare Necessities are going to have a naked cruise on, that's the Carnival Sunrise, but it's actually going to be on the Carnival Legend. It's going to be their 75th nude cruise, folks. It'll be a 2-week jaunt. They do spend more time at sea than in port, because when they go to port, they have to put their clothes on, I guess. And a quote from the spokesman from Bare Necessities: respecting confidentiality, personal space, the ship's staff, the clothing requirement. And yes, folks, she adds, we do have clothing requirements, and respecting yourself. We run a tight ship around these policies and have a zero tolerance policy. I like to believe this is what makes us so successful. Feeling safe and being safe are things you can count on when you sail with us. As to who their clients are, she said the average age is anywhere from mid to late 50s. That's the average age. But taking all into consideration, there are 30-year-olds and there are 90-year-olds that go on a naked cruise. Now, I did check my calendar, folks, and unfortunately for that week, I'm busy. I can't go on the nude cruise. So Just saying. Hard Rock International has reopened its all-inclusive resorts in Cancun, Los Cabos, which is Cabo San Lucas, the Riviera Maya, and Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, along with the company's resort in Punta Cana. All of the resorts have reopened under the company's new safe and sound standards, which include 262-point inspection of all properties independently assessed by NSF International. These standards range from temperature checks for all guests, team members, and vendors on arrival, social distancing markers and mandatory masks for all team members, to plexiglass separators at front desk casinos and check-in areas. So the Hard Rock resorts are currently open. Of course, if you can get there, you might want to do that. Of course, it's a little still have some difficulty traveling from this country, but just saying, things in the world are getting better, and we're falling behind in the States. Not pointing any fingers, but we're falling behind. So, a couple airline stories. One I'm not surprised at, and one that shocks the bejesus out of me. Qantas Airlines has effectively suspended all international flights from its schedule for the remainder of the year, except for a handful from Australia into New Zealand through March of 2021. When the airline removes inventory, it means flights are no longer available for passengers to book, and it usually is seen as a precursor to cancellation. So although Qantas international routes have not been formally canceled, flights are likely to be officially be nixed shortly. Not surprising. The other one that I really found surprising is that travelers may begin flying on David Neilman's new airline, Breeze. Now, this is the guy that owns JetBlue. He's starting a new airline next May. Breeze will start carrying passengers on regularly scheduled flights under a plan submitted to U.S. authorities, including Embraer E190s that'll operate early flights, and then the new Airbus A220 and A300 joining the fleet from August 2021. And their initial service plan calls for flights to 15 U.S. cities on the East Coast, Midwest, South, and in Texas. So in the midst of all this, a new airline is kicking off. Good luck to them. Could be a rough way to go, I'm afraid. I'll be back in a second after this word from Scootaround.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
All right, let's get rid of the airplane. Okay, the other reason, the story that I wanted to point out about Europe, according to our friend Dave Monk of Ships Monks, Britons get the green light to go on river and round Briton cruises as Foreign and Commonwealth Office updates their travel advice. So now, after a lot of grief over their statement of basically saying they don't want their folks to go on cruise ships, which that's now been stipulated that they have advised against cruise ship travel at this time on seagoing vessels. But they are approving river cruises and round Briton cruises, which would be like, there have been some talk of like Hurtigruten doing a a cruise to nowhere and sailing from Southampton and going out and coming back. Those apparently are going to be acceptable now. It's the big ships like we normally cruise on that they're still against. I find that to be good news for the folks in Europe, and a couple people that I talked to during the night last night and early this morning tend to agree with that. And there is some excitement along those lines. Now, keeping that in mind, I would also point out that our guest this week on Sunday show, the Cruise Amigos Show from London that I co-host with Pete Hall and John Reitmeyer, our guest is going to be another fabulous writer. This is Janine Williamson. She's a freelance journalist, travel writer, the River Cruise Queen, she's called. She's also a horse addict and animal welfare advocate, so that's right up my alley. Of course, that's she was over in China there in that picture. There's going to be some interesting pictures and stories coming out on Sunday when we talk to the Queen, which I'm going to call her that. I just think that's terrific. Of course, her work has appeared in the Telegraph, The Independent, USA Today, The Times, Travel Pulse, Cruise Critic, French Entree, Cruise International, Silver Travel Advisor, and a lot more. So mark your calendar, folks. That's Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's 8 p.m. London time for you folks over there with that talk funny like Pete. And that's for the Cruise Amigos Show with Janine Williamson. It's going to be another really good show, folks. So I hope all of you guys can get there for that. Those of you that were with us last week for Sue Bryant know that we had just a marvelous time with her. And while we were doing this, while we were on that, I asked Sue about her favorite ships. Now, we know she's a writer. She writes for a lot of people, so she can't specifically say one. I'm sure Janine won't be able to say one either. But I asked Sue about her favorite ship.
I love the Queen Mary 2. I love it because I've done a few crossings and I've done some very special crossings. And I was very, very, very lucky to get on their last themed jazz cruise where we sailed across the Atlantic with Gregory Porter, who I love. And we went to 2 gigs because it was so rough they had to abandon the first gig. So we got a second gig for free. And then I got to interview him and he sang to me. And I still have the recording on my phone. And I love the Mary. I mean, I love wild, rough sea. As you can tell, I like extreme places. So that was amazing. Small ships, I like Star Clippers. I like sailing ships. Star Clippers is pretty, I've been on about 25 of those and they're wild and random and they're fun. That's Aqua Blue. Now that I did this year, that was one of the most incredible trips ever. And that's a small ship that used to belong to the British Navy and it's been converted into a luxury motor yacht. And I went to Raja Ampat, which is, again, it's this kind of place you see pictures of and you think, oh my God, it's on my bucket list. I have to go. And it was so beautiful. And the snorkeling and everything there and the food, oh, it was amazing. I also like Hurtigruten, which I've talked about a bit, who took me to Antarctica for the first time on their battery-powered ship, which I like very much. I love celebrity ships. I've got many, many favorites here. So you're probably bored by my favorites now, aren't you?
No.
I love celebrity and, Edge was amazing. And yeah, so I like a mixture, but I like big open spaces. So anything that can take me anywhere wild and also river cruising. I know you guys are more ocean, but I'm a big fan of river cruising.
I also asked Sue about her favorite ports.
I knew that one would come. I knew it. I know. Again, I can't have one. I can't have only one. Nobody has only one, do they? So I made a list. Well, not port. I mean, places. Antarctica. No one port, but I mean, just mind-blowing. Raja Ampat, where the aqua blue picture was, which I went with my partner on that trip, and we were on a kayak. Again, I like kayaking. And I was thinking to myself, I've never been anywhere so beautiful. And he suddenly said, I've never been anywhere so beautiful. I was just like, amazing. This stunning place with these great big cliffs falling into the sea, and you can see the fish under the water. And that was amazing. Sea of Cortez, because I love wildlife, and that was the whales and the dolphins. They're extraordinary in the desert, and the Galapagos. And if you want a port of call, Venice. I love Venice. I don't care what people say that Venice is ruined, Venice is blah, blah, overcrowded. I love it. And I was sort of thinking, if you said to me, any itinerary around the Mediterranean, you know, what port would it have to include that would make you say, yes, I'll do it? And it would be Venice, always.
All right. Thanks, Sue. Again, that was a great show on Sunday, and we got Janine Williamson coming up this week, so looking forward to that. All right, got a ton of comments over here, so let's go catching up, see who all's in the house here since we started. Chillie was, hi, Gretchen and Tom. Chillie wants us to cancel our subscription? Absolutely not. Where did that come from? Tina says she can't see me. Oh, God, I see. I'm blocking Tina Turtle. If that's what the problem was, sorry about that, Tom. I didn't realize what that comment meant there until I go back. Hey, Emily's with us. Good morning, Emily. Gretchen's here. Maybe they'll be able to afford to send some of her refund now. Yeah, well, that would be nice. Everybody says hi. Nikki's here. Nikki says morning to all. Hope everyone is well. Let's see. Nikki, we were on the Maasdam Boston to Montreal in 2015. Great ship. You know, I really like Holland America. I do. I was planning on doing several. Matter of fact, I was working on Holland America and trying to get them to come up with solo packages, but which they haven't done yet. But I adored the Holland American cruise I did February ago. It was great. Love the food. Oh, as much as I like to eat, their food on Holland America is just outstanding. So, Tom asked, what did tea leaves say for NCL October? Seems we might be getting ready for a new cancellation announcement. I'm thinking that's going to happen, Tom. But I keep hoping. I know Jason up in Pittsburgh is booked on October 3rd on a Carnival. And right now they're open. Matter of fact, they reopened some ticket sales on that one. They had been closed, showing as sold out. Of course, we realized they're not selling as many cabins as normal, but it had been closed off and it's reopened again. And still, I checked it this morning. It's still reopened. So, but yeah, I'm kind of expecting it. And one of the other things I noticed was MSC. The MSC cruises for all of the fall and well into next year, they're gone. They have not making any announcements yet. Their sale date still whatever it was, October 1st or somewhere along in there, but the cruises have all disappeared from everywhere. So I'm thinking that we're going to have some more cancellations coming, I'm afraid. And again, like I've said all along, folks, until we get the stuff going and get especially Florida, Texas, and California, which are the main sailing ports in this country, until we get the virus under control in those areas, they're not you can't sail ships because you can't take a chance on this thing happening all over again on a cruise ship. So it's, so it's got to be able to be safe to get on the cruise ship so we don't have problems on the cruise ships once you get on it. and it's some work has to be done before then. Sonny says, a news cruise, my eyes. Yeah, could you see this fat butt of mine nude? I don't think so. I don't even look at myself nude. Emily says, my eyes too. I had to talk about the nude cruise. I talked about that on the cocktail party yesterday too. Anyway, Tom says, thinking of the old AT&T advertising song, reach out and touch someone. Well, I see now that's not supposed to be done on that. You're supposed to respect. Well, do naked people have to stay 6 feet apart? I don't know. Pete's with us. Hey, Pete. Looking forward to Chillie reporting live on the Nude Cruise. Yeah. Well, if I was on the Nude Cruise, I'd report live, but something tells me my calendar just won't let that one happen. Honest, it won't. Nikki says, we've gotten a little casual during this quarantine, but I'm not ready for a nudie cruise. Yeah, Nikki, I agree. I'm just, I thought it was funny. So, is it still nude if masks are required? Now, there we go. That's a question I don't know. Sonny wants to know, is it stick? If you're naked, do you have to wear a mask? Now, I don't have an answer for that one, Sonny. Sorry, darling. I really don't. Oh, goodness. I figured you people would get a kick out of the Nude Cruise. So let's see, where are we here? Gretchen says we may be going back into lockdown. Yeah, I'm afraid there's several of the states need to. As much as I'm a businessman, folks. I've been a businessman all my life. I understand about getting the economy going, but look what it's done to Florida and Texas and California. They got to back up. They got to pull the horns back in, and they got to get it under control, which they didn't do to start with. They had, again, the White House put out those guidelines, and part of the guidelines, before you could reopen, you were supposed to have 14 days with the numbers going down. Then you could start safely reopening. None of them did that. As soon as they could, they just started reopening. And that's why you got the problems you've got today. And, of course, none of the politicians are going to admit that. And the White House didn't come back and step on the folks that did the reopening too quickly. Again, I'm getting so sick and tired of politics. Oh, and we got to deal with it now until November. So that's just awful. I hate all of them. The Republicans, Democrats, all of them. I like to throw them all away. Start with from nothing. We'd be better off. I promised not to rant this morning. I was going to rant about being naked. Tom says he got an email that American is teaming up with JetBlue. I just saw a quick little news report on that. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but apparently there is some possible marriage between American and JetBlue coming. It would have to be beneficial to both companies. I think. I'm not sure how it's going to work yet, but that's something we're going to watch, Tom, in the near future. That there's something afoot on that. Don't know what it is yet. And let's see. Pete says our FCO updated, no cruise advice. Yeah, saying okay. Same thing I said later on. He must have typed that in before I got to it. Let's see. He says, Jason's with us. I was just talking about you, Jason. Your ears must have been burning. Our friend Jason from Pittsburgh. And everybody, of course, says, hi, did I miss anything important? Hell yeah, Jason. Every time I open my mouth, it's important. I talked about getting naked. You'll be right up that alley. So, you'll have to go back and watch the naked part of the program. I figured Jason would get a charge out of that one too. Yeah, Jason, he's the youngest in this crowd, and he could pull it off if he wanted to. Most of us wouldn't even attempt it, but Jason could probably pull it off. So yeah, his fiance kill me too. So everybody's still going back and forth with the greetings and so forth. And by the way, folks, when I go, and no, I did not mention Bruce's conspiracy theory. I disagree with that. Really didn't want to get into it because it has to do with the White House and the CDC and dictating to the CDC. The White House doesn't have to dictate to the CDC about cruising. The CDC is not going to do anything about cruising until it's safe to cruise. Even though the head of the CDC is a political appointment, you still or mostly have, long-term health, public health folks in there. So I'm not sure I agree with his theory on that, Jason. And I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form of agreeing or disagreeing with the White House, but I just don't agree with that there's that animus toward the cruise lines. He said it's because none of them are U.S. corporations and yada, yada, yada. So, Chillie Falls, read your C's. Oh, please cancel my now I know what that comment was for back there. Okay. Tom, I'm a little slow. You guys know that by now. Just a little slow. And that one was, that was 4 feet over my head. Tom, you got one up on me there. Thank you. Thank you for telling me what the hell I missed, because I missed that one. So anyway, Amy's with us. Hey, Amy, glad you're here. You're late as usual. Not as usual, but Amy tends to be late on occasions. So you got to catch up too. So everybody gets caught up. You guys are great. I love it. Chillie, I just saw NCL site for Alaska. And if you leave from British Columbia, wait a minute, I lost track of that. If you leave from British Columbia, your last stop is on Alaska. Why not back to BC? Just saw the NCL site for Alaska. If you leave from British Columbia, so that would be leaving from Vancouver, and you can go to Alaska and you come back to Vancouver, or you go to Anchorage and get off in Anchorage, and then the ships sail from Anchorage back to Vancouver. So, some of the Alaska cruises do that, but still, if they come from an American port, which would be from Anchorage or from Seattle, which, are going to take in most of the Alaska cruises, you have to go to another country if you're from an American port. So if you sail from Seattle, it has to stop they usually stop in Victoria. If you sail from Anchorage, which is the back half of the Vancouver, you go 7 days up to Anchorage, and then you get off and then they reload in Anchorage and sail back to Vancouver. So you still got that change of country. That's that stupid rule. But anyway, that's how it works. But then none of them are cruising this year. It's next year before there are any Alaska cruises. Everything now in Alaska this year is done. Everything. So, they're still talking about my friend Bruce, and I disagree with it. So anyway, let's see. My phone alarm goes off. That's Tom saying his phone alarm goes off at 10:50. So he can turn into Green Acres, Chillie's farm. I like that. Chillie's farm, Green Acres. Yeah. Chillie's getting ready to go out and get in the pool. Although today it's we're in possibly in the midst of a cold spell. It may not get 90 today. It's been 18 days in a row. It's been 90 here. And I was just looking at the weather app this a little while ago, and it's only supposed to, but might only get up to 88 today. So I might have to pull out my mittens to go get in the pool if it's only going to be 88. Sonny says, keep Manhattan, but give me the countryside. Bruce says, Americans near bankruptcy might be feeling for a merger. Oh, American Airlines is near bankruptcy. I don't know. They all got to be in trouble. And let's face it, they're flying planes with nobody on them. So I don't know. That's a toughie. Jason says, there's a Chillie chat. We did a Chillie chat once before on one of his ships. Jason says, I'm 39. Yeah, he's young for us. Yeah, we still like Jason, just because a lot of us are old enough to be Jason's grandpa or something. Jason, if you go on your cruise, you and I got to talk about getting some information on the breeze. So going to look at that. Alaska, would that be one way? Sonny's asking. Emily says she's got you. Okay. Same here, 88. Chance of storms. So Gretchen's got the same weather today. Again, we're just the weatherman was just talking yesterday. We could break the record of going 19 days at 90 degrees here, but there's a chance it may not get there today. So that would be nice. So that's it for this morning, folks. I will be back, of course, on Saturday. Most of you know I did short little clips of stories that I'm still working on getting videos made because I've been spending some time in the pool instead of sitting here working all day long. And I'm going to do that again today. I'll probably get another video up. I did one yesterday. I'll probably get one up today. But anyway, don't forget, mark your calendar for Sunday. It's going to be another great show. Janine Williamson, fascinating lady. I think she's going to be just a lot of fun like Sue was this past week. The shows from London have just been outstanding. So that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. You guys stay safe, wear your mask, stay healthy, don't get in trouble. And I'll see you come a Saturday. This is the Fat Travel Guy. You guys have a great day.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.